It's not about motivation. Winners need discipline. Wake up and win today. Discipline comes from within.
Boxing King Media in association with Boxer. Delighted to have with me Shane Mcguigan. Shane, I can see that you're still putting those miles in right now.
Trying to, yeah. Trying to keep fit, keep active. So enjoying it.
Most important question of the day: how is the missus? Is it going to come early?
I don't know. Sky have asked me to do the breakdown of the Usyk versus Fury fight. So that's on the 18th, and the baby's due on May the 21st. So 23rd. So I'm not too sure. I think I might have to swerve that one.
Finally, we get the rematch on nearly 5 years to the day they both had their first fight. Just going back 5 years, how much has Bilham improved?
Yeah, CBS has improved a lot. He always had the ability to be a very good fighter, but without the depth of the amateur experience, travelling and having that confidence. I mean, he come down to my gym as like a sparring partner for Groves, and then started to spar David Haye. And at that time, he didn't really believe that he was going to, set the world alight and become a world champion. So he's built up that resilience, he's built up that confidence, and that was what he was lacking a lot. There was times in that first fight that he was making Riakporhe miss, and he was working when he shouldn't have been working. Still felt it was very, very close. Did you go for the volume of punches with CBS, or did you go for the more eye-catching shots? Or with Riakporhe was holding the centre of the ring, pushing him back. Chris was darting around the ring, wasting energy on the outside. I think it's going to be a completely different fight. I really do. I think they've both improved a lot. Riakporhe's got a lot cuter with his attacks. He's set things up a lot better. CBS has got a lot more confidence in his hand defence, his blocking ability, his ability to nullify and set the pace. Learn how to set the pace over a 12-round distance as well. So there's a lot of variables that have changed, and I don't think it's going to resemble the first fight at all.
Obviously, since then, Richard's teamed up with Angel Fernandez as well. You mentioned there that he has improved, but are there any particular points, any particular things that you've seen improvements in Richard?
Yeah, he catches and counters well. He doesn't rely on a big 1-2 all the time. As I said, he sets things up a little bit better. But sometimes when you're sparring like a novice, and you're sparring a novice that's athletic and strong and raw, it's hard to get to grips with them. But the more schooled the fighter is, if you're a talented fighter, you're schooled yourself, you work better together. And I feel like that first fight, there was a lot of holding and smothering, and this fight, it'll be a lot cleaner, which will mean that they can both hurt each other a lot more. But with that, they're both going to go into it confident, and I'm confident my man gets the victory.
It's not home advantage this time round. Just the thought process behind that was the stadium not available, and obviously you're happy to go to Selhurst Park.
Yeah. So up until a couple of days before we announced the fight, we were still trying to get it back down in Bournemouth. Even Boxer were. They understood that Chris is the champion, and collectively we all worked really, really hard to get it there. I don't think Riakporhe was necessarily against the decision to go down there. It's just they're relaying the pitch, and the window that they gave us, it just wasn't an option. And they just weren't. They said next year we can stage a fight down there, but for now we can't. And they got new owners down in Bournemouth. They've got they put a lot of money into it, and you just can't really. You can push it as much as you can, and we did that. We exhausted all avenues, but we couldn't. So option number 2 was Selhurst Park, and I feel like for Chris and for Richard, it's something different. Going to the O2, people do it all the time. Going to Wembley Arena, it's the same old. I think this fight, as a world title fight with Chris's fan base through the Bournemouth FC, that's what they're going to be excited about. You can use the season ticket holders of Crystal Palace as well to sell some extra tickets, and it's a fight that merits a lot of attention and a lot of people. And doing it indoors in the summer on a hot night isn't as exciting as doing it outdoors in front of on the 15th of June in front of 20, hopefully 15,000, 20,000 plus fans, and you can make it an event. I think boxers are very, very good at making it an event around fight week as well. So, we're all for it, and they're both promoted by Boxer, and it got done.
In other news, I spoke to Lawrence Okolie a couple of weeks ago, who came to one of the shows. I asked him why didn't the rematch take place with Chris, because there was a rematch clause. We were assumed to know that there was a rematch clause, and he said, speak to my team, they made that decision. From yourself, were you surprised that the rematch didn't happen? More importantly, his move to Bridgerweight?
No, I feel like someone like Lawrence, he's a confidence guy, so he has to justify everything, like a loss. Oh, okay, I was inexperienced against Irslandi Savon in the amateurs. If I'd have done it 30, 40 fights later, it would have been a different story. And that's what fights have to do. As soon as they give in to believing that they're not as good as they are, or as good as they and everyone around them perceives them to be, then they lose that edge. So his excuse, I believe, is that he's tightened the weight. But he probably would have made the weight easier than ever. I think, if anything, he probably overdid it in the gym. Come off one fight before and went straight into another with another camp. He's a very good fighter. He's got world-class ability. He's a former world champion. I've always said he should go up to heavyweight, not just Bridgerweight. I think he should go up to heavyweight. He carries enough power and enough speed to give the big guys a lot of problems. And it's the franticness that always unsettles him. And that's what they can close that gap from long to short quickly. From watching him spar for 3+ years, it's the guys that can close the gaps quick. It unsettles him, and he's got so much leverage in his 6'9" reach. So he's got so much leverage in his punch, and they smother it, and that's where it gets messy and tangled. I think he should go after this one. I believe he'll win it, but he should go straight up to heavyweight and have some big domestic fights. Yes, they punch a little bit harder, but they're a bit slower. He'll see the shots better. A couple of massive fights up there for him, and I think but you can't take away from the win that Chris. I just think those smaller guys give him problems. It's not just CBS; it's guys that are tough and happy to get in there and make it hard on his work for him.
Just your thoughts on him teaming up with Joe Gallagher. Obviously, I know there was, at the time when we spoke a while ago, he was moving to Dubai, and you couldn't obviously go there and commit.
I like it. I like the move. I mean, as I said, there's no animosity between me and Lawrence. The thing about Sugar Hill is that he's a camped kind of guy. A lot of trainers in the States, they're like, okay, I'll turn up for 8 weeks. You don't learn anything in 8 weeks. You get fit and you spar and you sharpen up a little bit in 8 weeks. The development happens day in, day out. Someone like Adam's been in the gym for 3 years. Caroline's been in the gym for 3 years. Josh Taylor was. Chris Bullen-Smith's been in the gym 8. Josh Taylor was in my gym nearly 6 years. That's where you get the development. Not just my gym, in all the gyms. That's, as a coach, that's what you need. You need the ability to mould and shape a fighter consistently throughout, and then you get the green light for the fight, and you're like, okay, we've got 8 weeks. Let's ramp the intensity up. But the fundamentals and the foundation should be set in stone. And going into a camp as a world champion with a new coach, and they're trying to teach you things, and you've got 5-6 weeks to go. You're then just you're hoping and guessing on ability. And I don't think that's not a place for Lawrence, but he's still relatively new to boxing. And Joe Gallagher, the most important thing is he cares for the fighter. He takes time. I can relate to that. I know that it's not just a job. You want to get that rapport. You want to get that trust between each other. And your fighter's gonna have to expose himself at the weakest moments in sparring, when they're feeling flat, they're feeling terrible, they have a bad day. That's where you as a coach learn. And if you're only seeing someone for 5-6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever, it's just not enough. And I like Joe. I think Joe, even though stylistically they're not maybe suited, because he likes a slightly more higher guard approach, but in the past he's worked with guys like Hosea Burton, who used to box long and things like that. He knows enough about the game that he can do good things with Lawrence.
Just find a few quick ones. I've got to ask you, Jake Paul's fighting Mike Tyson has been officially sanctioned as a fight. Is there a risk that we might see one of the great heavyweights of the past look like a meme, potentially, or you could make Jake Paul look like a meme at the same time?
it's a worry, isn't it? Because look at what happened with Evander Holyfield. It was a real sickener. I hope not. It's gloves selection. You know, I'd be making sure that it's now sanctioned as a professional fight. That means there's 10-ounce horsehair gloves. It's going to make it a lot more exciting, but at the same time, you know, a guy that's close to 60, getting hit on the chin by a young athletic guy that, yeah, he's not technically amazing and he's nowhere near the same size and density that Mike Tyson is, but all he's got to do is turn a shot over with half decent speed. And you know, the punch resistance definitely goes as you get older, unfortunately. And let's hope that it doesn't happen. Let's hope it happens the other way and Tyson lands first.
101 Fury Usyk, only a couple of weeks away now. Even though I speak to a lot of fighters and coaches and trainers, everyone's still split. What are your thoughts? And have you come to a conclusion?
I'm going to disappoint. I'm going to say exactly the same thing. I mean, up until the Ngannou fight, everyone would have been sold on Fury, but you know, the rumours are that he hasn't been the same since the Wilder fights, Fury. And you know, like those training camps, and they were a long time ago. You know, he has to take a lot of. I don't believe both of the fighters are the same since those fights. If he knocked out Dylan White, a guy that is good, he's tough, but you don't have to go looking for him. And then he's knocked out a guy that's even easier in Derek Chisora. Same thing, tough, but you know he's going to walk onto you. Tyson Fury loves guys walking to him. Usyk's so clever. He's just nudging off the line. He can take it to you, then he'll drop back or he'll take a side, constantly changing the angles. And for a guy that doesn't throw combinations like in flurries, which Fury doesn't do, I just believe like he's going to lose a lot of rounds, and it's going to be one of them where like he might win a couple of rounds, and he might win them quite big because he might maul him and land a few shots, but once again, you've got a guy that's nimble, that's athletically still really, really there, Usyk, and I think he'll be able to get his wind and nick it on points, I think.
Shane, thank you for your time. All the best in camp, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you very soon.
Appreciate it. Cheers, mate.
Win gold now. IPMB is giving away 5 24-karat gold coins to our token holders worth over $2,000 each.
Let's do this.
Thank you very much for this great news. It's amazing.
It's never been easier to own gold, so join the raffle now.
I got a question for you. Where can discipline take you? Discipline points you toward your goals.